Good afternoon and welcome back. It is Thursday at the 2024 ISC Men's World Tournament, and after a wild affair at this particular diamond that saw Grand Prairie hang on for an 8-7 victory over the Kegel Black Knights, combined with the Toronto Batman win on diamond number 2, we are actually down to only 10 teams left in the hunt to win the 2024 world title come Saturday evening. We have a couple of winners bracket games, big ones later, but in this contest, it's the JB Bombers taking the field. They suffered their first loss last night, 5-0 against Marco Diaz in Hill United, and they're taking on the AWP Lumberjacks. Again, leading things off is Valdi Turkelson. Eder Olheiser has moved up into the cleanup spot today. Cody Gibbons is going to play at second base in place of what appears to be the injured starting second baseman, Cody Pannebecker, who looks appearance-wise like he has a bit of a thumb-type problem. And the defense in behind Luis Colombo, who will make his first start of this 2024 event. Flores behind home plate. And the rest of the JB Bombers defense. Their record 2-1. The AWP Lumberjacks with a record of 3-1. They advanced to this game with a very hard-fought 1-0 triumph over the watered-down Hammer yesterday afternoon. And Valdi Turkelson set to lead things off against Luis Colombo from Valencia, Venezuela. He's only pitched 2 innings in the competition, including a third of an inning where he picked up a strikeout in the 5-0 setback at the hands of the Hill United Chiefs last night. Glad to have you with us, no matter where you're looking on in the ISC network. It is another glorious day in this beautiful ballpark called Softball City. Surrey, British Columbia is the site of this year's World Tournament. Turkelson has had a quality event. He's 4 for 11. He has doubled and driven in a run. His best game came earlier this week against the Grand Prairie Pirates in a 6-5 setback. That was a quality contest. He was 2 for 4 in that particular outing. Is the pride of Copenhagen, Denmark, trying to get things started in a positive way for the Lumberjacks. He'll test Jorge Lima, and Lima ranging in behind the bag to make a good play for out number 1. Lima pressed into service last night in a collision, and it was scary. Ismael Pena left the game and the tournament, I would suggest, collided with center fielder Cesar Rodriguez and took a knee to the rib area. We hope Ismael is okay. He's back at the hotel. He spent part of last night in the hospital and can't again say enough about the kind of care and attention and how quickly the paramedics were on site to help out Ismael Pena. So we hope you're trying to rest comfortably. Understand that he may have a broken rib or two as a result of that collision, and the umpires are going to gather. And at this time, can tell you that Yuri Dostal from Prague in Czechia is the home plate umpire. Michael Morrissey from Peterborough, Ontario is at first, and our third base umpire in the three-man crew is Kevin Wallace from Shipman, Illinois, which I'm guessing is a suburb just outside of Chicago. No balls and a strike to Argentine national team member Federico Eder, the fine shortstop, as Colombo steps back and now will reset with 1 out just underway in a game that was slated to begin at 1. We've fallen a little behind, and that is always the case with so many games in succession. And when you have 15 runs scored in a game like the one that was just played on this diamond, the 2-hour time frame is rarely enough as Colombo finds the outside corner for a strike. He is part of the Venezuelan national team staff. Primarily in the tournament, they have gone with hard-throwing right-hander Maiker Pimental, who has pitched the rest of the innings that they have participated in. And he lost the showdown last night against Marco Diaz in a matchup of arguably two, if not the two hardest throwers, velocity-wise, in the sport. And Diaz was sensational, and my guess is we'll see him again tonight for Hill United in their big showdown, and he'll be tested because the Northeast Drillers, who will be their winner's bracket semifinal opponent tonight at 8 o'clock, they're hitting the ball as well as anyone here right now. Maybe not named the New York Gremlins, but I think when I compared the two-team batting averages earlier today, they're still ahead on that front. These two teams, depending on the opponent, have struggled just a little to score. But that is what occurs in this tournament when the competition gets stiffer and stiffer. And it doesn't get much stiffer than where we're at right now with only 10 teams remaining in search of a world title in 2024. Eder is 3 for 13 at Softball City this week with a run batted in and dealing with a full count. And a swing and a miss on a quality drop that time, and Colombo has his first strikeout of the game. Nice movement on that drop ball. Excellent location as he throws to fellow Venezuelan behind home plate, the always effervescent Rafael Flores. Tawera Bishop is at first. Cowick, the batter, coming up in the next inning, but he's at third base right now. We talked about Lima, and Juan Villavazzo is over at second. In the outfield for JB, it's Iran Torres, Cesar Rodriguez, and Nicholas Carrillo. That is, by and large, been the outfield on a very consistent basis through their first 3 games. As Colombo trying to deal with the left fielder, Jonathan Lynch. Lynch had a couple of hits in the game yesterday versus the Waterdown Hammer. He's 4 for 13. He has homered and driven in 3. A very successful 2023 event with Hill United, where he batted better than .500 last year, 8 for 15. And a changeup they're going to ask, and Kevin Wallace says no siree on the check swing. The scouting report on Colombo is that he's very efficient, really well slotted, if you will, on this staff in the number 2 spot, but more than capable of giving you some quality games and quality innings as he issues his first walk. And Jonathan Lynch aboard with 2 out for the always dangerous Federico Olizer. And Olizer supplied the only run in the win yesterday over the Waterdown Hammer with a solo home run. That one came in the top of the 4th inning. And Colombo works in tight, and an illegal pitch is the call on Colombo, and he'll certainly want some consultation as to what he just did wrong. Everything is about how you step. And the ISC rule is a little different than it is internationally, too. So they'll work things out. Michael Morrissey over at first made that call. And Michael, in English, with Kyle Cowick having the conversation, and then the message will be relayed. So an illegal pitch is an automatic ball if you're not familiar. And this can be really, really difficult early in a game for a pitcher. Because now if you have to think more about your footwork, it throws off your timing, your plant, your release, all of it, as they try to straighten it out. And Colombo looks to regroup as Cowick delivers the message the best he can. This JB Bombers team, based out of Ensenada, Mexico, or out of Agoura Hills, California, pardon me, primarily Spanish-speaking. It's a team almost exclusively, not quite, made up of players from Mexico and Venezuela. There are exceptions, like Tawera Bishop, who's from New Zealand, and Kyle Cowick, who is from right here in this very area. He's from Vancouver. So we are set to return as Olheiser now asks for time. 1 ball and 1 strike. There's 2 out. As Colombo shakes off his catcher a couple of times. And now delivers a good pitch that is fouled off the glove of Rafael Flores. The Bombers have upgraded their team from a year ago, but a year ago they were in a very different position, and they made a really good run. They were upset in their very first game by R.M. Kurtz, but then scrapped their way back into a position where they ended up tied for 5th. So I guess they're right in a very similar position to make the same type of run. They'd like it to be even better. And with a combination of Pimentel and Colombo, is Pimentel already up and working in the bullpen. This is a must-win game, so that's not surprising. Pitchers have a short leash, but Colombo, even after the illegal pitch call, regroups and strikes out a dangerous hitter in Federico Olheiser. We're through a half an inning. The JB Bombers are coming to bat. We'll show you their lineup shortly.
Well hit, deep right field, it's curving. This one, well hit to deep right field this time, and that one is gone. Trying to put it away is Jack Bettsgrove. The New York Gremlins are world champions.
JB Bombers able to retire the side in the top of the first. Now they come to bat. As we take a quick peek at their lineup, Cesar Rodriguez, after the injury to Ismael Pena, finds himself the center fielder in the leadoff spot. Flores, Carril, Villavazo, and the always dangerous Tawera Bishop, who's playing at first base and looking for his first hit of the tournament. He'd love it to be today. Bradley Kilpatrick, no surprise, I've nicknamed him the Nibbler. Team USA national team member. Pitched so well for them in the 2022 Men's World Cup. Originally not from the United States, but now resides, I understand, in Gainesville, Florida. And this ball hit deeper than the right fielder had thought, and Turkelson had to go way back. It's a really difficult time of the day. He could see the sun just glaring off the glasses. And the wind carrying the ball in that direction as Rodriguez got into one a little bit better than Valdi Turkelson thought, but he was able to regroup and make a nice catch out there in right field for out number 1. And now Caracas, Venezuela's Jorge Lima, 2 for 10 with a run batted in. He was 1 for 3 in the game against Marco Diaz and the Hill United Chiefs last night. And hits were not easy to come by. The JB Bombers with only 3 of them in the game. As Lima takes the changeup on the outside corner for a strike. Kilpatrick is thrown 15 2/3 this week, given up 3 runs on 11 hits, struck out 21, and walked 1. He was superb in a 7-inning complete game shutout yesterday over the Waterdown Hammer, where he surrendered only 2 hits and struck out 8. He will not overpower you. He's all about location, change of speed, and it gives up a base hit to Jorge Lima, who fights it off right off the fists and past shortstop Federico Eder. So the Bombers have a base hit, and I would suggest they would be the favored team in this one, more in the middle of the plate upon second glance than Kilpatrick might have wanted. And Lima fights it off for his 3rd hit here at Softball City, and it's followed up on another base hit off the bat of Rafael Flores. So the Bombers have something going early off the ace of the AWP Lumberjack staff, Bradley Kilpatrick. And a big change in terms of the adjustment from 85 and 86 miles an hour that they dealt with in the ballpark last night, facing Marco Diaz, to now Kilpatrick. But they've been able to make the adjustment so far. And here's Nicholas Carril, who hit it well, but just foul past the outstretched glove of Olizer over at third. Carril, the right fielder, he's 2 for 8 and has a run batted in. He was 0 for 3 in the contest last night versus Hill United. And Kilpatrick comes back with a strike and gets ahead in the count. On so many occasions in this sport, if you are going to get to this type of pitcher, a lot of times it has to be early before they get into a groove, find the rhythm. And that's exactly what the JB Bombers are attempting to do against the left-handed throwing Kilpatrick. As Brad shakes off a sign or two and now will deliver. And Carril misses on a quality drop. And Kilpatrick with an important strikeout for out number 2. His 22nd of the tournament. And here's Juan Villavazo playing at second base. Villavazo, 1 hit, 2 runs batted in, and they were 2 big ones. They came in a 0-0 game a couple of days ago in a 2-0 victory over the Kegel Black Knights, and quite a pitching matchup on that particular evening between Pimentel and Josh Pettit of Kegel. So his only hit here made a huge difference in keeping his team at that point in time in the winner's bracket. He's from Tijuana, Mexico, was 5 for 21 at this tournament 1 year ago with a home run and 4 runs batted in. He hopes to get hot. Flies to left, and Jonathan Lynch, without his hat, records the out. So Kilpatrick in a little trouble, but able to battle out of it. We're through 1. In this loser's bracket game, if you will, or the redemption round. It's must win. I know that for both. First baseman Cisco Sabate from Argentina leading off for the AWP Lumberjacks, and takes a rise ball in the top part of the strike zone from Luis Colombo for a strike. Sabate is 4 for 11. He's homered here and driven in 3. But all 4 of those hits and the home run, needless to say, came in one game against the Emory Electric Chargers in a convincing win earlier in the tournament. So yet to contribute a hit against anyone else in their other 3 games. Hoping to change that this afternoon in this must-win contest. As makes good contact, but it's foul. JB Bombers with a couple of hits, but stranded 2 runners in the bottom of the first, as they've given the ball in this critical contest to Luis Colombo, making his first start. And this will bound foul as Cowick. Must be really exciting for this veteran to play in this event in his backyard. Kyle's always been one of those players, very successful, and as far as Canada is concerned, I describe him as always on the edge of being a national team type player. And still not out of the mix, I wouldn't think, if he got red hot here late in the tournament for next year's Men's World Cup. As Colombo, who hopes to be there himself with Venezuela, who did not qualify in the first of 3 WBSC events. They finished 3rd, but their world ranking could leave them as the 2nd wild card team to round out the field of 8. As off the bat of Sabate, his country will be there, and that is Argentina. Three balls and 2 strikes to Cisco Sabate. That was dangerously close from another diamond. As Sabate continues to foul balls off, as this is becoming a lengthy at-bat for number 10. And those are always crucial. You want to make the opposing pitcher work as hard as possible. The more pitches in an inning, they all add up as the game goes along, and Colombo delivers. There was a longtime detective television show, now you have to be of the right vintage, called Colombo. I didn't require an investigation to know that that was a good pitch, and his 3rd strikeout of the game. Frank Kimlinger, Team USA member for their upcoming Group C event in Oklahoma City. That'll be staged in the middle of September. He's had an impressive week. He has 6 hits here. Cooled off a little yesterday. He was 0 for 2 in the game against Waterdown, but 6 for 11 overall, 3 doubles. He's homered, 5 runs batted in. Frank is from St. Paul, Minnesota, and has already delivered more hits in 2024 than he did with the Ostrander Norsemen when he had 4 in 2023. And well ahead in the count, 3 balls and no strikes. As Kimlinger looks in at Colombo and delivers a 3-0 strike 1. Kimlinger homered, 2 runs batted in against Emery Electric, then 3 for 4 in their first game, actually, against the Pegasus Redmen. 2 doubles in that game, 2 more runs batted in, and then was 2 for 2 against the Grand Prairie Pirates in a 6-5 loss. So Clayton Robinson, the only pitcher to be able to get Frank out this week so far. Colombo looking to continue the trend. And he just helped his own cause as Kimlinger wasn't sure that he went around. Kevin Wallace said yes. As Colombo getting on a roll. He has 3 straight strikeouts, and there is a quality look to tell you that indeed he did go. And now Ivan Sachs misses on an excellent changeup. Sachs, the catcher for AWP, he hit a couple of balls very hard in the game yesterday, but was not able to achieve a hit. Made 2 solid line drive outs, swung it really well, but was not rewarded for his efforts. Ivan is 4 for 10. He's doubled and driven in 4. He had a huge game like Sabate in the big win over the Emery Electric Chargers. 3 for 3 in that game, a double and 2 runs batted in. Right back at the pitcher. A casual little flip and an impressive 1-2-3 inning for Luis Colombo and the Bombers.
How confident are you in your organization's security posture? If your answer isn't 100%, you're not alone. Most organizations aren't doing enough to protect their data, and they know it. With Armitage Technology, you can stop worrying about IT security issues so you can focus on moving your business forward. Our experienced staff monitor and maintain your IT infrastructure to keep your business running. Visit us at armitagetech.com and make your technology work for your business. How confident are you in your organization's security posture?
For the best Bear Tent banter on the airwaves, listen to Dust Up with Hilly and Lolly. Here's some of the biggest stars chatting with 2 of Newfoundland's own, Jason Hill and Steve Mullally. It's unfiltered and uncensored. Dust Up with Hilly and Lolly, wherever you get your podcasts. Yes, bye.
That view of Softball City never gets old. Fabulous 4-diamond complex. We're at Diamond 1, the main diamond, watching this important must-win contest between the AWP Lumberjacks and the JB Bombers. JB did deliver a couple of hits in their bottom of the first versus Kilpatrick, but stranded 2 as he delivers strike 1 to Tawera Bishop, the New Zealand national team catcher who had a big WBSC event earlier this year in Prince Albert with 3 home runs, couple of the monster variety, but yet to deliver a hit at Softball City. He comes into the game at 0 for 6. He has scored a couple of runs. And this guy more than capable of getting on track. And with this being the 3rd last day of competition, this would be a great place for him to get on a roll. Ball and 2 strikes from Kilpatrick. And again, I think the Nibbler nickname is very apropos. Up, down, in, out, change speeds. Won't overpower you, but will locate you to death. And Bishop making him work for everything on this at-bat. It's gone to a full count to the Wellington, New Zealand product, and he is able to draw the walk. Good at-bat from Tawera Bishop, so no hit, but finds himself where he wants to be on the walk. And now Vancouver's own Kyle Cowick. 2 for 7. A triple, he's homered, and 3 runs batted in. And he has some supporters, friends, and sure family in the park today. In fact, I can hear a few of them not too far from our location as he swings and misses on a good drop from Kilpatrick. Can be an absolute master of changing speeds. Works away that time, but out of the zone. 2 balls and a strike to Cowick, who had a great Canadian Senior Men's Championship in this facility, playing for the Souk Loggers in late August and early September. Had a couple of home runs, 9 runs batted in. He's capable of getting on a roll and a good swing, but fouls it. Nicely played over at first base by the coach. Coach Pena over there and having a chat now with the opposition dugout as a result. Bishop, the base runner, and Cowick, the Canadian flag on his left arm. Popped in the air and just out of play. Off the top of the dugout, which will give Cowick another crack against Kilpatrick. And can't imagine that we'll see anybody else get the ball at least to begin for AWP as long as they're still in the hunt. And Cowick draws the walk. There's Kilpatrick in some difficulty again. He gave up a couple of first inning hits. Now starts the bottom of the second, issuing back-to-back walks. Designated player. Little fist bump for Ivan Sachs behind home plate. Is Jorge Pena. Pena not with a lot of at-bats so far at Softball City. And a strike delivered from Kilpatrick, who finds himself in a similar scenario as he did in the first. One of Kilpatrick's best ever efforts, and now he wants to be on the same page with his catcher. And you see this all the time, especially with a runner at second who has the opportunity to look in and potentially relay a sign. So Kilpatrick more than aware that that can occur. Early, but already feels like a key inning, especially for the Lumberjacks. It's a very good JB Bombers team. Pena again sets the square and can't get it down. Almost did, but almost doesn't get the job done. A little showmanship. And Federico Etter, never afraid of a little showmanship, along with Tawera Bishop. And when you're as large as Tawera is, whatever he wants, I'd be happy to give him. He wants to play around, I'm good. He wants to stay away, I'm good. He is a large human, as Kilpatrick, and good pitchers can do this. Get into trouble and then work their way out as he strikes out Jorge Pena. for out number 1. His second strikeout of the afternoon. And here's left fielder Iran Francisco Torres. Torres 0 for 5 coming into today, fashioning those purple batting gloves. Has made some good plays and left, yet to really contribute at home plate. And in the number 9 spot, again, where he has been in every game, in the lineup. But he'd love nothing more than to deliver his first hit and maybe first run batted in. And now I can understand why Josh Pettit didn't pitch today. He is wearing a knee brace and at the park was watching this game for a couple of minutes. And that's why he did not appear for Kegel, the Black Knights. And he pitched very well in 3 games for them, including a tremendous pitching duel a few nights ago against Micah Pimentel and this JB team as Cody Gibbons, with the injury to Cody Panabecker, able to collect the ground ball and shovel over. So Torres does his job. It's not a sacrifice bunt, but he does hit the ball to the right side of the diamond, and the 2 runners advance to second and third on the 4-3 ground out. And with 2 outs, top of the order. And Cesar Rodriguez.
Now batting center fielder number 31.
He really tested Valdemar Turkelson in right field. Had a little trouble finding the ball in the sun. Almost made its way over his head, but did not as Turkelson recovered well. The swing off Sabate, or make that Sachs, up the line, but the catcher does a really nice job to corral it in a hurry. And there was no chance for Bishop to come home from third. 2 walks to start the inning, a strikeout and a ground out. The Bombers left 2 runners stranded in inning number 1. They'd like to not do it again here and put some pressure on this Lumberjack team in a must-win game. And the winner of this game will have to play again tonight in an 8 o'clock scheduled start. So the borderline controversy here is about visits. It's not like you can go out there every single time that you want to. And they've already had one. And that's why Kevin Wallace took a beef or 2 on his way to third base umpire. So Cesar Rodriguez stays alive on the 0-2 pitch as Kilpatrick again trying to work his way out of a bit of a mess that he created when he started the inning with back-to-back walks. Can he do it? The answer is yes. Bradley Kilpatrick paints the outside corner. And JB has stranded 4 through 2. It remains 0-0 on the ISC network.
There were no errors.
HRD Bat Co. owners Nick Shales and Trevor Oakes want to bring the best quality bats to baseball players all over the world. Our pro-grade wood combined with our finish process makes them some of the hardest bats with the biggest pop in the game. Customization is our specialty. We offer a variety of handcrafted models and unlimited design. Visit us at hrdbatco.com. Play hard, swing hard.
Do you need a reliable supply?
The early story in this game has been JB's opportunities that have been squandered. They have stranded 2 runners in both the first and the second, and yet to cash in against AWP, who bats in the top of the third. In the game on Diamond 2, also in what we're calling the redemption round, it is the Oma Tigre leading circle tap the Dukes 1-0. That game in the bottom of the second. Will keep you abreast of that one as the afternoon goes. Ball and a strike. The count to Tyler Booley, the designated player, as Colombo delivers a strike on the outside portion of the plate. And he is working ahead. The only base runner was Jonathan Lynch, who walked. So Colombo yet to give up a hit. And this one is the first. I think they call it the broadcaster curse. And I know that there is a fabulous pitcher not too far from me, and the pitchers will always make note of you bringing something like that up, and then on the next pitch or two, somebody gets their first hit, as Booley just did. And now Cody Gibbons, who's a pitcher in his own right, a young one, tries to lay down a sacrifice bunt, but fouls it away. So Booley with the hit, and the Lumberjacks have their first one of those and just their second base runner of the game. Booley's third hit here at Softball City. Good work that time by Flores to handle the high rise that nearly made its way to the backstop. So one team is threatened, one team has not. But it's still 0-0, and that's really all that matters. As Booley looks over to get the sign. And a 1-1 pitch on the way, and the bunt attempt failed again. And these are the little things in games that can make a huge difference, especially if runs continue to be at a premium, although we're very early in this contest. And now I'm going to guess that Gibbons will be asked to swing away, as he will set himself. And Colombo, a quality change of pace that had Gibbons well out in front. And it's the 5th strikeout of the afternoon for Luis Colombo from Valencia, Venezuela. Valdemar Turkelson in his usual leadoff spot in the AWP lineup. He grounded out to Jorge Lima. Hits it past Lima with no chance, and another hit for AWP as Turkelson finds his mark as he goes the other way with the outside pitch. And Turkelson delivers his 5th hit of the tournament. And for the first time this afternoon, the Lumberjacks are in business, with runners at first and second and only one out as they start to get to Colombo just a little bit, and that brings with it instant activity with Miker Pimentel getting up to throw, and a bunt attempt by Eder, and it's over the head of Tawera Bishop, who goes to second for an out. Well, a great recovery after what looked like it might be an easy pop-up bunt. But over the head, and then the recovery, as we'll show you, by Bishop to have the awareness to go to second. And he did that quickly enough to keep the force in play, which is also something to note. Be interesting to see how that's actually, I guess it'll still be counted as a sack bunt. But the oddest one you'd ever see. It was almost a base hit. I guess fielder's choice. It was a bunt attempt, but it went over the first baseman's head. And had it not been for the opportunity to pick it up and throw to second, so we'll wait and see what the official score says. The only thing I can tell you for sure is there's runners at first and third, and there are now 2 out. That was odd. It's not something that occurs a lot. Jonathan Lynch, he's had a number of quality swings, 2 hits yesterday in the win over the Waterdown Hammer. Drew a walk. Can he deliver the game's first run? He's from St. Joseph, Missouri. And nice block by Pena to make that Flores to maybe save a run. Another little play that can make a big difference. So Eder, the base runner at first. Booley, who started the inning, with a single at third. Can Colombo, as his fellow pitcher, Kilpatrick has done a couple of times, work his way out of some difficulty? And the drop ball swung on and missed will help. As Colombo reaches back to set himself, grabbed the gorilla rag in his back pocket for grip. And now looks in the sign. Ball and 2 strikes to Jonathan Lynch. Struck him out. Give both pitchers credit. When they've been in trouble, they've bailed themselves out of it. Primarily themselves. 0-0 heading to the bottom of the third in this must-win game in the 2024 edition of the ISC Men's World Tournament.
Let's talk about a local one-stop shop. Live Well for Life is just that, a fitness, nutrition, and therapy facility all under one roof. Located at 3878 Wellington Street in Mitchell, Ontario, you can get so much done in just one visit. A full complement of staff on hand include chiropractic, massage, and personal training to get you back to your healthy self. Find them on the web at livewellforlifeinc.com or give
Live Well for Life, a proud sponsor of the broadcast program.
For the best Bear Tent banter on the airwaves, listen to Dust Up with Hilly and Lolly. Here's some of the biggest stars chatting with 2 of Newfoundland's own, Jason Hill and Steve Mullally. It's unfiltered and uncensored. Dust Up with Hilly and Lolly, wherever you get your podcasts. Yes, bye.
Welcome to Mont Hill Golf and Country Club. With our beautiful 27-hole golf course open to the public, we work tirelessly to ensure your time with us is second to none. Well, here you'll be able to enjoy an incredible dining experience at our very own Big Pete's Steakhouse. Play some of the best courses in the
Both teams have 2 hits. Both teams have stranded runners. No one has yet to cross home plate in this must-win game as Jorge Lima on the first Kilpatrick pitch hit it a mile in the air, and Gibbons reaches back, but able to make the catch, and the reaction will tell you it was very uncomfortable, but job executed. And the wind will really swirl here, not to mention that that's a tough sun area of the ballpark right now as well. So Lima makes an out after delivering a hit in the first. Flores, he delivered a hit his first time up. Batting .400 in the tournament. He's 4 for 10. And he has now delivered a hit in each and every one of the 4 games that JB has been involved in. Ten teams left in the hunt right at this second for the world title. 4 teams in a better spot than the others. They're still in a double knockout type situation in the winner's bracket, and we'll have the final 4, if you will, of the winner's bracket coming up for you from this diamond tonight. Games at 6 and 8. The 6 o'clock matchup, the defending champion New York Gremlins and the Bear Creek Express in a rematch of last year's championship final in Denmark, Wisconsin. Flores, you would say, just missed it. Jonathan Lynch ranges over towards center to make the catch, and there's 2 away. And in game 2 tonight, it will be the Hill United Chiefs and the hot-hitting Northeast Drillers, who have pounded the ball in their first 3 games. But tonight, it changes. And what I mean by that is they're likely to deal with Marco Diaz. It could be Roman Godoy, though. There are great options if you're Hill United. Really excited about those 2 games. On a beautiful day at Softball City. Temperature again in the low 20s. I would have to think, even for the players, the conditions this week have been almost, as I just heard Joe Todd utter, ideal. It's the perfect word for it. It's the great thing about having Joe around. He's always just in the right neighborhood to help. The nicest man in softball, Joe Todd. 3 balls and a strike. I don't know if Nicholas Carril is a nice guy. He probably is. I just have never met him. And Kilpatrick bouncing back from a 3-0 count to deliver a couple of strikes. Is Kilpatrick in search of a 1-2-3 inning, and he won't achieve it. As Carril draws a 2-out walk in the bottom of the 3rd, and another base runner for JB, this time on board for Juan Villavazo. Villavazo flew out to Jonathan Lynch and left to end the bottom of the 1st with 2 runners on. The Bombers have now had 5 runners on base. But Kilpatrick, to this point, has always been able to find an answer, and the changeup fouled into the screen by Villavazo. Just the 1 hit, and as I mentioned earlier, it was a game-winning hit. And in that game, hits were incredibly hard to come by. He has one going the other way. Carril on his way to 3rd, and the Bombers threaten for a 3rd straight inning after making outs with their first 2 batters. So they've done it a little bit in reverse in the 3rd. There's Villavazo with a quality piece of hitting. Can't do it much better. That pitch was in a real good location, went with it and drove it into right field. And can Tawera Bishop deliver his first hit? He walked to start the second. Brad Kilpatrick playing with fire again. Misses outside. Wind blowing to right center, and Bishop didn't miss that pitch by a whole bunch. He was 6 for 14 in Prince Albert at the WBSC qualifier for New Zealand. 3 of them were homers. Drove in 7. And another pretty good swing on the inside drop from Kilpatrick. So far, Brad has been a bit of a magician in this situation. 3rd straight inning, there's been 2 out with 2 runners on base. And he's done it again. And this time, lunging to make an excellent defensive play. The Bombers continue to strand runners. 6 of them through 3 innings.
The annual Boys of Summer tournament is held every July at the Circle Tap Bar and Grill in Denmark, Wisconsin. We host some of the top teams in the game at one of the best venues in softball. The atmosphere of old-time fast pitch with all of the amenities of a full-service bar and grill in the grounds can't be beat. Reduced-rate hotels about 10 minutes from the park are available in Green Bay. To bring your team to the annual Boys of Summer tournament next July, contact Dean Kane at deankane16@gmail.com. Thanks to Circle Tap for their support of the broadcast program.
Welcome to Mont Hill Golf and Country Club. With our beautiful 27-hole golf course open to the public, we work tirelessly to ensure your time with us is second to none. Well, here you'll be able to enjoy an incredible dining experience at our very own Big Pete's Steakhouse. Play some of the best courses in the world with our state-of-the-art golf simulators. Upgrade your gear with the top brands at our pro shop, or host a stunning wedding, event, or conference inside one of our beautiful ballrooms. Learn all this and more at monthill.ca.
Federico Olizer, Cisco Sabate, and Frank Kimlinger. The batters due up for the AWP Lumberjacks in a 0-0 tie starting the 4th, as Olizer not cheated on that swing against Luis Colombo, giving up 2 hits and has 6 strikeouts. And the story continues to be missed JB opportunities. Stranded 2 runners in all 3 innings. Olheiser the other way, and it's going to carry. Foul off the tent. And in yesterday's 1-0 victory, Olheiser supplied the only run in their 1-0 victory over the watered-down Hammer with, guess what? A 4th inning home run to right field. He nearly did it again. In this case, nothing more than a long strike. This game feels very similar to that game. And that didn't miss by much. There's Olheiser with a good eye, the veteran from Argentina, who was part of their WBSC Group B event team in Prince Albert earlier this summer. And hammers it to center for a base hit. As Olheiser finds the mark for the first time in the game and is up to 6 hits here at Softball City. Batting .500, he's now 6 for 12.
Batting for the Lumberjacks, number 10, first base,
Cisco Sabate, who does have a bat in his hand. Asked a bunt, and Flores with great hustle to keep it in foul territory. For a big guy, he got out of the catcher's box quickly. He would be on the all-fun team if there was one. And maybe at some point there should be. Mr. Toriyama from the Oma Tigre would be right at the top of the conversation. And the Tigre involved in quite a tussle with the Circle Tap Dukes on Diamond 2 and another redemption round game. Losers bracket, repechage round. Let's just say the must-win bracket. That one works too. Because if you're to win this title, you have to win this game and that game. 4-3, the Tigre leading the Circle Tap Dukes on Diamond 2. Did not quite pick up what inning they are in, but I will relay that when I get it. They are in the 4th inning as well. We're now in the 5th, top of the 4th. My wife is a sign language interpreter. I'm not as good at it, apparently. There were hands flying all over the place. I saw a 4 and a 1. I didn't know if I was supposed to add those together or not, but it is in the top of the 4th, as it is here. So both games running parallel to one another. As Sabate takes with 2 strikes. So misses on an opportunity to move Olizer over. Can he do it in a different way? Punches it. Lima had to go a long way. Olizer's going to tag. That's a good bluff. When you draw the throw, it's a good bluff. And Jorge Lima, in place of the injured Ismael Pena, went a long way to get it. There's Kimlinger, the batter. After tearing the ball and the cover off of it the first 3 games, he's cooled off. But could heat up again and almost leaves his shoes on every swing. He's another player who's rarely cheated in that variety. Miker Pimentel continues to throw down the line in case of his services being required. He's been the mainstay through their first 3 games. Today, the ball in the hands of Luis Colombo, and he's given them a good outing. No balls and 2 strikes to Frank Kimlinger. And that is on the outside corner. Perfectly placed for strikeout number 7. At least it certainly looked like it. Flores did do a pretty good job of framing on the replay. And here's the opposition catcher, Ivan Sachs. And a rise ball finds the top part of the zone for strike 1. Olizer remains at first base following a leadoff hard-hit single to center. A rise curve type pitch from Olizer that missed significantly that time outside. but the sequences are all about setting up hitters. Been impressed today. First real in-person viewing of Colombo. And there's maybe as good a changeup as he's thrown in the afternoon. There's Sachs, grounded back to Colombo. His first time up. Ball and 2 strikes to Ivan Sachs. Two out, top of the 4th. Who's going to break through? Catcher and pitcher on the same page finally. And it's a good page. And it's a great change, as in change up. An 8th strikeout for Luis Colombo. 0-0 going to the bottom of the 4th in this must-win playoff game at the ISC World Tournament.
For the Lumberjacks, top of the 4th inning, no runs, 1 hit.
This business was opened in 1965 by my father, Ned Mattiosi. Could have walked in here 25, 30 years ago and seen just about the same thing. The process of making this suit takes about 6 weeks. It goes through about 12 or 13 hands as it's moved along the line. It's an old-time place. Making stuff from scratch here in the city at a reasonable cost. It's a very personal type of business.
Well, the JB Bombers have certainly had their opportunities this afternoon. They've stranded 6 runners, 2 an inning. Have 3 hits. In fact, both teams have 3 hits in the game. And Brad Kilpatrick has always been able to reach in the bag of tricks and find an answer. Cowick. Gibbons. Dropped it first. So it bounds away just a tad from Gibbons, who fired it to Sabate, who didn't really look like he was quite ready for it, and then dropped it as a result. So that's going to be an error charge. It's just a matter of who they're going to charge. And I think it should be charged to the first baseman, who, sorry to say, was very nonchalant on the catch attempt. So another base runner for JB on the error to first. And here's Jorge Pena, the designated player today. Hard hit, might be a double play. He catches this one. Quick hands by Gibbons, who's over at second today because of what we believe is an injury to regular starting second baseman Cody Pannebecker. That's a hard hit ball by Pena. And that changes the complexion of the inning in a hurry. that makes up for it. As Pena hit it right on the screws, but it turns into a 4-3 double play. This time, Kilpatrick, hurt a little by his defense, helped out. And now it's Iran Torres who fouls it straight back. Torres yet to find his way into the hit column at Softball City. 0 for 6 officially. Was 3 for 13 in Denmark, Wisconsin 1 year ago. And he has some home run power. He had 2 of them in Denmark. He'd be happy to get on base any way he can right now. Hits this pretty well, but Jonathan Lynch tracks it, catches it. It wasn't a 1-2-3 inning, but for the first time, Brad Kilpatrick only faced 3 JB Bomber hitters in it.
Peligro Sports provides the essentials needed to give your team an edge on the field. Our brand is rooted in creating a unique experience tailored to the specific needs of your team to ensure your performance is at the best level to execute plays. At Peligro Sports, we rally behind our athletes and understand their fight to take their game to a dangerous level. Visit our store at 2200 Amsterdam Avenue in New York City or see us online at peligrosportsnyc.com.
Does your game need work? Want to get better every game? Every at-bat? You need Lumberjack Sports, focusing on exceptional quality and providing players with reliable, long-lasting product. Lumberjack Sports brings you in-game equipment and off-field workout gear designed and tested by top fastball player Nick Shales. Hard work, strength, and all-around commitment to getting the job done and done right is the motto for Lumberjack Sports. Learn from the best. Play like the best. Check out lumberjacksports.com.
Lots of great snacks, food, beverages. You can find it all here at Softball City. And great fast-pitch softball. Got a good one going in a must-win game for both these teams. 0-0 in the top of the 5th now. Colombo versus Kilpatrick. And the guy whose last name starts with C has 8 Ks. He's been sharp. Both have given up 3 hits. The JB Bombers have threatened more often. They've left 6 runners on base. AWP has had a couple of chances in their own right, but not to the same extent. It's Tyler Booley who delivered a base hit earlier in the game. In fact, he led the second inning off with one. That was their best opportunity to score. They left runners at first and third against Luis Colombo. Comes up and in, but well out of the zone that time to even the count at 2-2. Tyler is from Champlin, Minnesota. He's 3 for 13 in Surrey. I would call Colombo a deliberate worker. There's no pitch clock in the ISC. And that one, a rare get away from him pitch. And a full count now to Booley. He's thrown some great changeups. Not sure if this is the time. Well, I'm more sure now because that's exactly what he offered up. He's got a good one. And he used it again. For strikeout number 9 to get Tyler Booley. And now Cody Gibbons. Gibbons struck out versus Colombo in the third. Colombo busts him inside for a strike. Cody, a member of Team USA, named last week to their group for the WBSC Group C event in Oklahoma City. Cowick, trouble with a short hop. And Gibbons, who runs well, at first on the air. Is Kyle Cowick unable to collect the short hop as he looks to compose himself? And they're not going to wait around. Despite the great effort of Luis Colombo, we're about to see hard-throwing Miker Pimentel, and we'll focus on what he's done when we return to Softball City.
Sometimes people worry about asking for help because there can be a stigma around mental health problems.
Trust your teammates.
Trust your teammates.
Trust your teammates.
They might believe that asking for help means admitting that something's wrong.
Trust your teammates. Trust your teammates.
Some people worry about how others might see them.
Trust your teammates.
Trust your teammates.
Asking for help means that you want to make changes and take the first steps towards better mental health.
Trust your teammates.
Trust your teammates.
We should celebrate the courage it takes to speak up and make changes.
Trust your teammates. Trust your teammates.
Getting help is part of recovery.
Trust your teammates.
Trust your teammates.
Mental health isn't something you need to keep to yourself. Talk to a friend. Trust your teammates. You're not alone.
Trust your teammates.
Trust your teammates.
The first steps may be the toughest, but knowing where to look for help is a good start. Community mental health organizations like the Canadian Mental Health Association or Mental Health America offer resources and programs that can help you. Visit cmha.ca or mentalhealthamerica.net to find a branch in your community.
And remember,
Trust your teammates.
Trust your teammates.
"27-year-old Miker Pimentel makes his fourth appearance in the fourth game of the tournament for the JB Bombers. He's 2-1 here. 18 innings of work, given up 5 runs, 12 hits. Only 2 of those runs have been earned. He's struck out 32 and walked 6. He had a 17 strikeout performance in a victory earlier this week over the Kegel Black Knights. Comes in with a runner on and facing the leadoff batter in the AWP lineup in Valdemar Turkelson. The Hill United Chiefs able to get to Pimentel in that pitching showdown last night for 5 runs and 8 hits, but only 2 of those were earned. Luis Colombo gave JB an excellent outing here. But in a must-win situation, if you're going to go down, usually coaches want to go down with their best. But Colombo only gave up 3 hits, struck out 9, and came out of the game after an error to third baseman Kyle Cowick that has allowed Cody Gibbons to stand at first, and Turkelson squared that up, but not quite well enough. Right back to the screen off the bat of the Denmark product. Ball and 2 strikes. Top of the 5th. The loser is done. Lifted in the air, Torres and Rodriguez. Torres calls it and makes a good, strong throw in to take any thought that Gibbons might have had about tagging up and advancing. And after what we witnessed last night, in a game where Ismael Pena was hurt and required a lot of attendance, we're told it's a broken rib and maybe a couple of cracked ones. That took me right back to that place when I watched Rodriguez, who was involved in that collision last night with Pena, the shortstop, and Hernan Torres. But fortunately, the catch and no collision that time for out number 2. And here's Federico Eder. Swing and a miss on the drop from Pimentel, who's in that 80-plus neighborhood, according to our speed gun. Up the middle, but perfectly positioned, was Villavazo. Couldn't have been in a better spot on what looked like a hit and run. 0-0. Who's going to break it open? We might be here for a while.
The annual Boys of Summer Tournament is held every July at the Circle Tap Bar and Grill in Denmark, Wisconsin. We host some of the top teams in the game at one of the best venues in softball. The atmosphere of old-time fast pitch with all of the amenities of a full-service bar and grill in the grounds can't be beat. Reduced-rate hotels about 10 minutes from the park are available in Green Bay. To bring your team to the annual Boys of Summer Tournament next July, contact Dean Kane at deankane16@gmail.com. Thanks to Circle Tap for their support of the broadcast program.
Center fielder Cesar Rodriguez in the leadoff spot today. Brad Kilpatrick has gone the distance. Been able to work his way out of some troubled innings as the Bombers have stranded 6 runners in the game. JB has 4 hits to AWP's 3. Kilpatrick has such an easy throwing motion. Doesn't look like he expends a lot of energy, although he has a tendency to almost run around a little bit after his pitch. He is a pitcher's pitcher, if you will. You see 70 miles an hour. He's nowhere near the hardest thrower here by any stretch. Gets away from Sachs, but a nice recovery And that is a excellent change up and a strikeout for Kilpatrick to begin the bottom of the fifth. It's just Brad's third strikeout of the afternoon. In the other must-win game on Diamond 2, it is now a 4-4 tie between the Oma Tigre and the Circle Tap Dukes, as they're involved in a very different type of game not too far away from us. In fact, even from my vantage point, I can just see a little bit, and I mean just a little bit, of left field. I can't even see the left fielder, just the left field corner. Jorge Lima has one of the 4 hits for the JB Bombers. It came back in a 2-hit bottom of the first. Two balls and a strike to Jorge Lima from Caracas. At one time in this tournament, played for the Scarborough Force. And has played a lot for his country of Venezuela in the 22, 2019, and 2017 World Cups. And if they find their way in a wild card situation, maybe another next year in Prince Albert, and he didn't like that call. Thought it was outside. Home plate umpire, who has the only vote that matters, Yuri Dostal from Prague, had other ideas. Ivan Sachs with some pretty good framing. The other catcher is at home plate in Rafael Flores. Boy, he had a great WBSC event earlier this year where Venezuela came up just shy of punching their ticket to Prince Albert. He had 8 hits. He has another hit at the ISC World Tournament. That is his second of the day. He's 2 for 3. And as I mentioned earlier, has a hit in every game. And being the catcher with 2 out this year at the ISC World Tournament, courtesy runner for the catcher with 2 out, which will add to the speed at first base. And it is the last player to make an out who goes to run, and that's Jorge Lima. Nicholas Carril, he lines it into left with authority. And the Bombers threatening again. 2 strikeouts followed by back-to-back hits as Nicholas Carril has his 3rd hit at Softball City. Well, he had a huge clutch hit against the Kegel Black Knights in a 0-0 game in the bottom of the 6th earlier in the tournament. Juan Villavazo. Can he do it again? The answer is no, sir-ree. Grounds out to 3rd. Starting to wonder what it might take to score a run. Make it 8 stranded runners for the JB Bombers.
Let's talk about a local one-stop shop. Live Well for Life is just that, a fitness, nutrition, and therapy facility all under one roof. Located at 3878 Wellington Street in Mitchell, Ontario, you can get so much done in just one visit. A full complement of staff on hand include chiropractic, massage, and personal training to get you back to your healthy self. Find them on the web at livewellforlifeinc.com or give
Live Well for Life, a proud sponsor of the broadcast program.
For the best Bear Tent banter on the airwaves, listen to Dust Up with Hilly and Lolly. Here's some of the biggest stars chatting with two of Newfoundland's own, Jason Hill and Steve Mullally. It's unfiltered and uncensored. Dust Up with Hilly and Lolly, wherever you get your podcasts. Yes, bye.
Zero. Two pitchers have worked for the JB Bombers. What hasn't worked quite as well as they would have liked is how they've hit with runners in scoring position or runners on base. They've stranded 8 runners today. And remember, they were shut out yesterday as Jonathan Lynch has an extra base hit to begin the top of the 6th. And as I sit here, in games such as this one, how many times will you squander opportunities in a game only to have it come back and potentially bite you? If you're the AWP Lumberjacks, you hope that's exactly how this will play out. And in the 6th inning, they have a runner in scoring position as Jonathan Lynch continues to hit the ball well. An extra base hit for number 29. Third baseman Federico Olizer. He just missed a home run earlier in the game. Hit it off the tent, but foul down the right field side. His home plate umpire Dostal will clean off home plate. Miker Pimental came in to replace the starter Luis Colombo in the last inning. And upstairs with a rise for a swinging strike. And you can hear the AWP Lumberjack dugout with a little more zip. Olizer didn't like it. As Pimental evens the count at 2-2 on the outside corner. The hard-throwing righty from Venezuela. That one almost hit Olizer as he absolutely fights the pitch off. Drop and rise, the two main pitches. Pimental will not throw a lot of change ups. This will move the runner. Bishop on the shovel, and they'll call Olizer out. And it was really tight over there. Really tight. Good play over at first by Bishop. Diving, shovel, tap dance. And it is some kind of close. We just watched it twice and very much slowed down. Great work by Luciano Lafrano to give us that last look. I'm not sure it could be any closer. It was as bang between those 2 feet hitting the respective bags as you could ever have. And in this game, you need a little good fortune, too. So the out, but Lynch does move up to third, and he's 60 feet away from giving AWP the game's first run. There's Cisco Sabate. Wants to make good contact. He'd like to hit it maybe into the outfield if he can off Miker Pimental. Sabate has 3 runs batted in. They all came in one game. A 4-for-4 effort against the Emery Electric Chargers. And a strike on the outside corner. If ever Pimentel needed a strikeout or a pop-up, it's right here. And we know he's more than capable. And he just delivered exactly what he needed. A rise ball and a bit of a off-balance swing from Sabate. And there's 2 down. A good time for Pimentel to record his 33rd strikeout of the event. And now facing Frank Kimlinger. Frank was as hot as anybody to open the tournament for 3 games. Now the umpires are drawing a little ire. Imagine that. That's a first. That's as sarcastic as I could ever be. And Pimentel with a little extra on that one, as he thought he had strike 1 with the first pitch. 1-1, Kimlinger trying to deliver the game's biggest hit in a must-win scenario for both teams, as Pimentel misses outside with a drop. Kimlinger has 6 hits here at Softball City this week. Can it be a lucky 7? He took a mighty cut but missed. Power against power. The go-ahead run 60 feet away. Who's going to win the battle? Pitcher at 81 on the gun. And it had good movement, too. Miker mows down Kimlinger when he needed to the most. It's still 0-0.
This business was opened in 1965 by my father, Ned Matiosi. Could have walked in here 25, 30 years ago and seen just about the same thing. The process of making this suit takes about 6 weeks. It goes through about 12 or 13 hands as it's moved along the line. It's an old-time place. Making stuff from scratch here in the city at a reasonable cost. It's a very personal type of business.
A missed opportunity in the last half inning by the other team. AWP had Jonathan Lynch at third base with 1 out and could not score him. The team at bat has had 8 runners on base today. It's still 0-0. Tawera Bishop batting in the bottom of the 6th. Tawera has walked and grounded back to pitcher Brad Kilpatrick. 0 for 7 officially here at the ISC. Will this game be decided with one swing? It kind of has that feel to it, doesn't it? Bishop takes up. And Kilpatrick takes the ball back. He's given up 5 hits. And the guy who I've nicknamed as the Nibbler has been a magician today when he's needed it the most. Had a little defensive help, including a good play he made on a ball with runners at first and third headed towards the middle. Bishop shows excellent patience to stay off the 2-2 change. And there have been a number of full counts today. The payoff pitch, smacked. There's Tawera Bishop's first hit. Was almost an out at second as Tawera pulled up and was almost tossed out. As he absolutely scalds this ball into the gap. Let's take another peek at the throw. It's a strong one from Kimlinger, who got it back in a hurry. Gibbons way closer than it probably needed to be. Quite a time from Tawera Bishop to provide his first hit of the tournament. It's a double. And now they'll run for him over at second base here in the bottom of the 6th. It's a must-win scenario on this side of the bracket. You've got to have this one if you want to continue to play for the world title. The best club tournament on planet Earth is right here in Surrey, British Columbia this year. And a guy from the area is at home plate in Kyle Cowick. And he'll take inside for a ball. Cowick walked and reached on an error to Cisco Sabate, the first baseman. So he's been on twice. He'd love to make it a third. And he knows he just missed it. It was in a really good location for him. But he hacked it back to the screen. Kyle has 2 hits so far, including a home run and 3 runs batted in. And another Picasso on a corner from a guy who can paint them with regularity. Drop ball. Cowick able to foul that away. The pinch runner is Mario Hernandez. Has not seen a lot of action. In fact, I don't think he's had an official at-bat. But he's come in to run for Bishop at second. Nobody out. Bottom of the 6th. Cowick. Not deep enough. Off the end of the bat and relatively routine. It didn't feel that way at first, but it was for Federico Eder. And the pop up to the shortstop. 1 out. Designated player Jorge Pena. A hard ground ball to second his last time up. He has been used infrequently in the tournament prior today, and that has a lot to do with the unfortunate injury last night to starting shortstop Ismael Pena, right at Olizer. Fakes the throw, and it's going to tag the runner out. Hernandez got caught. The cagey veteran, Federico Olizer. And how large is that? Then there's two away, and now a runner at first. And the number 9 batter is Iran Torres. He's 0 for 2, 0 for 7 in the event. Could this be his time? Kilpatrick thought he had another strike on the outside corner, not the case. Now he comes in for strike 3. Houdini-like. Kilpatrick just continues to get out of trouble. JB cannot take advantage. They strand another great opportunity. 0-0 to the 7th we go.
Peligro Sports provides the essentials needed to give your team an edge on the field. Our brand is rooted in creating a unique experience tailored to the specific needs of your team to ensure your performance is at the best level to execute plays. At Peligro Sports, we rally behind our athletes and understand their fight to take their game to a dangerous level. Visit our store at 2200 Amsterdam Avenue in New York City or see us online at peligrosportsnyc.com. Thanks to Jose and Peligro Sports for their support of the broadcast program.
Nine stranded JB Bombers in the game through 6 innings, and it remains 0-0 as Pimental with a strike delivered to catcher Ivan Sachs. 7 is the inning. 7 is also a key number at Diamond 2, and the other must-win game on this side of the bracket is it's a base hit for Sachs to open the 7th. He made really good contact yesterday on his way to 0 for 2, and now, in a clutch scenario, opens with a bounding base hit off of Pimental, who entered this game a couple innings ago in relief. The Oma Tigre in the top of the 6th have a 7-4 lead on the Circle Tap Dukes. Two winners bracket games as we're into the final 4 in the winners bracket side, upcoming later today, slated for 6, probably be later than that. The defending champion, New York Gremlins, will take on the Bear Creek Express in a rematch of last year's title game. And then it's the hot-hitting Northeast Drillers against likely, well maybe not, might be Roman Godoy. It'll be the Hill United Chiefs against the Northeast Drillers. That is for sure. So quite an ending it will be to this Thursday. We'll crown a champion on Saturday night. These two teams couldn't care less about that. They just want to keep their hopes for it alive. No bunt attempt after Sachs finds himself at first with a leadoff base hit. There's a big swing as Booley goes down for out number one. It's the third strikeout for Pimental after replacing Luis Colombo with one out in the fifth. Cody Gibbons in the number 9 spot in the lineup, the batter. Reached on an error to Kyle Cowick at third, his last time up. And the count even at 1-1. Not too many on the planet throw it with more velocity than Miker Pimental. He's in a select category of a few. And that 80 plus from only 46 feet. Marco Diaz, the hardest thrower. We've seen him even on our speed gun, which isn't right behind home, but it's set up pretty well. He reached 86 last night several times. Cody Gibbons gives it to Yuri Dostal. He didn't like the location one iota. Dostal calls it a strike at the knees. It was a good pitch. Our replay showed just that. So back-to-back strikeouts for Pimental after surrendering the leadoff hit to Sachs. And now, Valdi Turkelson, who misses on the rise ball. Two out, top of the seventh. For the loser, the dream of winning it all comes to an end this afternoon. The winner in an 8 o'clock game or thereabouts tonight on Diamond 2. There's Turkelson from Copenhagen in Denmark. Asked for time. 2 for 14 in the tournament last year. Oh my goodness. I think Turkelson's okay. Seems to be more angry than anything else. There's Cody Pannebecker, who's injured and coaching down at first with what looks to be an injured left thumb, the starting second baseman, and a Team USA national team member. Gives him a little encouragement. So Pimental hits Turkelson, and that moves. Now Gibbons running in a courtesy position for the catcher, Sachs, and that adds some speed to that spot, too. Gibbons can run. Well, there's been no shortage of drama despite the 0-0 score. Eder able to stay off the rise. And this guy has had many a key hit in his lifetime. He was a member of the opposing team in this tournament last year. He was a JB Bomber. Now he's an AWP Lumberjack, a 2-time All-World player at the ISC. Can't hit Pimental this time. Ball and 2 strikes. The go-ahead run, 120 feet away. Miker Magic. Zero, it remains.
How confident are you in your organization's security posture? If your answer isn't 100%, you're not alone. Most organizations aren't doing enough to protect their data, and they know it. With Armitage technology, you can stop worrying about IT security issues so you can focus on moving your business forward. Our experienced staff monitor and maintain your IT infrastructure to keep your business running. Visit us at armitagetech.com and make your technology
Is there anything much better on a beautiful day than being at a ballpark? Maybe have your favorite beverage in hand. Bunt attempt by Rodriguez, and it is a beauty to open the bottom of the seventh in this 0-0 game. Can't drop it down much better than the JB Bomber center fielder just did. Cesar Rodriguez, his first hit of the day and his third of the tournament. But this has been the story all afternoon. JB Bomber base runners. They've left 9 stranded through 6 innings. Kilpatrick has always gotten himself out. There's a good sacrifice bunt by Jorge Lima, which can be a lost art in the game at times. Much to the happiness of his Bomber teammates. Rafael Flores. He has 2 of the Bombers' 7 hits. And do they put him on with a base open? Why wouldn't you? A, he's dangerous. B, why wouldn't you want the force? There's only one runner in this inning. In this situation that matters is that almost floated back for a strike, and you saw the reaction from Flores, he won't let that happen again. Next year, this won't even occur. The ISC earlier this week has adopted the automatic walk rule, where you just have to signal that you want to put somebody on base. You wouldn't have to throw those pitches beforehand. And here is Nicholas Carril. Carril has a base hit. He's walked and struck out against Kilpatrick. Knocked down by Sachs. And that's an important knockdown by the Argentine catcher for this AWP Lumberjack squad. Carril towards a gap. And that will end it. A walk-off double by Nicholas Carril. And the JB Bombers advance to play another day. And that day is today. Carril, the connection to end it. And the JB Bombers advance bringing the AWP Lumberjacks' hopes to an end. Congratulations to them. A terrific game. Lots of opportunities at the other diamond. It remains 7-4 for the Oma Tigre. For our entire crew, my name is Peter Loubardias. So long for now, as the Bombers finally deliver with a man on base when it mattered most.
Latest in softball innovation, the website where you can experience the best tournaments in the Americas. Live games, news, tournaments, and much, much more. The best quality live softball, on demand so you can watch when you want. Be Premier member now, softballpremiertv.com.